Hi, so this is just a catch-up video about where I am with my diorama project. When it comes to this project, I've run over schedule a little bit. I've done a lot for it, however, which I think it has definitely paid off. There's been a lot of progress since the last log, so it'll be quite a lot to go through today. So for a start, it's all in Unreal now. Ported it all in. So everything's all here and set up nearly. I've got just a few more books to do scattered around the console floor, um, and then it'll be done. When it comes to it, I've textured everything well enough, I think. I hope people like it, um, at least. And I've done this nice brick pattern around the, like, you can imagine there'd be bookshelves, brickwork, and then the metal floors, which quite contrasting, but fitting for the out of time sort of machine, um, which was just like futuristic and also like nostalgic at the same time. So I'm trying to bridge those two ideas together when it comes to the texturing. Also, when it comes to texturing, there's a lot of bake maps and stuff like that. So you can see console looks indentated. Um, so yeah, that looks nice done. When it comes to the metal pillars, I think in the last log I said how I'm probably going to have to try and find a different method for doing the metal pillars. However, I went back on myself and I've actually managed to UV map these metal pillars, which are entirely 3D. They have a thickness to them, you can see here. Essentially, what I did was I took every face, cut every face on the outside, cut every face on the inside, and then I separated each individual hole, um, which then connected everything, disconnected everything, and I could lay it all out. And I even managed to make it so each individual hole, the inside section, is all one singular UV. So you can see like this is the same as this one down here, and it's the same as the one above it. So yeah, you can see these two are the exact same. Good, slow down enough. You can see they're both the same sort of texture. Um, there's a lot of detail into the metal pillars. I think it's what took most of the time, to be honest. Probably wasn't necessary, um, but I love how it's turned out, especially with the wires hanging down, which were a great feature, which I had as a design idea in my head the whole time. The design idea was this the whole time. Like I was going to do like a spinny top thing with wires hanging down and an overarching bend to it, so it sort of looks moody, um, stuff. And for more moodiness, I wanted to add like, candles and stuff in. However, um, with time constraints and already being over time with this project, I've not been able to do that. It's just I need to get it finished at this point. Um, so I've not added as much as I wanted. There was a few Easter egg bits I wanted to do. You can see a bookshelf over here. Um, they're all books. Each shelf has its own like variant. There's like 4 variants in total. For this, I've set up blueprints which each have their own different variations. So you can see there's a blueprint 1, which has its own variant set, and then we'll take blueprint 4 for example, has its own different variant set. So then that's just copied along with two other ones to make it look slightly different, slightly more unique between the shelves. And they're all individual books, which are all the same model, but they all each have their own individual UV, and their own texture. So well, no, they have the same UV, but they have different textures, so they're all slightly different colours. Obviously, there's only like 5 variant colours. There's 5 variant colours, um, which then I've just muddled in here and there. Yeah, when it comes to the console bits, back at the console, yeah, I modelled some nice little. I call this wiggly thing. It's probably more like a switch system. But yeah, these are switches which you can imagine the doctor would be like flicking between and that. So yeah, and then big red button. But I have a big red button, and this yeah took a long time to model this. But this is like a throttle lever with these sections which are independent of one another, so you can pull one down and pull one down. So far, you can imagine that's how it would be. If I was to make this a further game, you can imagine there'd be 2 individual buttons where it'd be like flick left lever, flick right lever, and then individual switches. You know, maybe you'd do like a HUD for this, where you select it and select which one you want to select, and then big red buttons, obviously. I've got these screens. Forgot to remove the UV map for them. I might have to have time to fix that at some point. But this is like actual Gallifreyan text. I think for this project, I was nerding out mostly with it. So it's one of them. It's very much, it's got its own Easter eggs. And I wanted to add more Easter eggs to it, references to the show and stuff like that, and add my own tweak little models and stuff like that. Maybe custom sonic screwdrivers and all sorts. But yeah, I've not had time for it. So Gallifreyan with the human the English translation with it. Same with the gold arches. They say time, relative dimension, and space over the top, which is the acronym for TARDIS, which I thought was quite cool since it's TARDIS. Gold arch, it has its own shimmer effect and glossiness to it. You can slightly see it there. So yeah, give it that gold look that, that you like out of an old rustic gold feel. And then obviously we have the warped TARDIS door. You can imagine from a TARDIS, being transdimensional. So you walk in, and it's sort of like a stretched version of the police box door, as you would imagine. The police box door to be just a normal box door. And obviously you walk in and it's just like whoa, sort of feeling. So yeah. Yeah, when I came to Sonic Screw, sorry, I'm going back and forth here, with the bookshelf, I wanted to add little more references, not just books. I wanted to add things like sonic screwdrivers, Dalek guns, and maybe just like a Cyberman head. And I'd do like a pop of Sonics, which would be quite cool, of like different variant versions. Maybe a couple from the show, or maybe a few of my own designs, which would be quite nice. Obviously, I've not had time for this, and maybe in the future I'll come back and I'll add my own little extra bits to it and stuff, which would be quite nice to work on further, because I've really enjoyed this project. Yeah, really liked it. When it comes to the underneath, I've spent slightly less time, but on this underside, but I still had a clear vision for it. For this, I had a vision of like an old 1980s or 70s cars, which would sit faced into the bottom end of the console. So it'd sort of be the engine, act as like quote unquote like a car engine, which you can imagine that's what the TARDIS is to a world. So imagine the Doctor's got the bonnet open, tweaking away, and maybe it would have been a good idea to do like a version of this with the bonnet open. However, due to time constraints again, I've not managed to develop that how I would like. But it'd definitely be nice at some point to come back, do like an opened version, and you could do like car parts, car engine insides, which would be a whole other like sort of project size thing to do for this. So yeah, and last but not least, you can actually walk around in this. I've taken some time to really add the details in, and it is playable. You can have a nosy around physically in the space. It would have been nice if it was like a whole room. Obviously, it's a diorama, so you could just have to use your imagination for that one. But you can imagine the Doctor like in here. You can actually move around the console, and that's what I mean by you can see how you would add sort of like HUD icons, which would you could select different parts of the console and control it how you would like. So yeah, if I was to take this project further, maybe not in the constraints of a diorama, I would add more space around, make it a full room. I'd add more variations in the bookshelves. I'd add more Easter eggs and little parts, bits and bats, and different prop pieces would be nice. Props. That's the word I'm looking for. Props. And the console itself, I'd add more variations of buttons and switches and screens to it. And the inside, I'd also add an exposed engine to it, which would be nice. Yeah, I quite like it how it's gone so far. There is a oh yeah, I forgot about that bit. Yeah, I've even managed to program it so it moves up and down the center bit. So it's almost like the TARDIS is in transit when you're looking at it. It looks quite nice. Yeah, that's got animation to it pretty much, which isn't part of the spec, but I just wanted to do it because it was fun, which I quite enjoy. So yeah, there is a secondary screen, a monitor, console bits, monitor. So yeah, this monitor would sit sort of like on this part. It would sort of sit on the edge here. Second, sort of like that. I'm going to add a couple of these in a second, but you would sort of sit there, and maybe in the future I could remodel it so it could look like it's actually spinnable, and you're able to spin it around the console, which I always like the idea of, just like a portable screen, which doesn't want a 360 around the console, sort of like on a runner or something. Yeah. That's my diorama piece. I'll do a final video once it's all laid out and a panorama view of it. See? Thank you.